Hello, my name is William Morris, and today I'm going to talk about diabetes, an American dilemma. This is from a medical sociology class at the Oregon Institute of Technology. My professor is Dr. Sophia Nathanson. First, I want to give a little overview of the problem at hand and what I'm going to talk about. The following is a list of questions I will answer in this PowerPoint. What is diabetes? Who can get it? What's the cause? How bad is the problem? What factors affect the problem? And what should change? So what is diabetes? Well, diabetes is defined as a group of metabolic diseases in which there are high blood sugar levels over a prolonged period of time. This is due to either the pancreas not producing enough insulin or the cells of the body not responding properly to the insulin it produces. It's also called diabetes mellitus. Diabetes mellitus. There are three main types of diabetes mellitus: type 1, type 2, and gestational diabetes. Type 1 results from the pancreas's failure to produce enough insulin. Type 2 results in insulin resistance and eventually failure to make enough insulin. Gestational diabetes is high blood sugar when pregnant, typically associated with women who have had diabetic problems before pregnancy or during the pregnancy. Where does it come from? Well, type 1 diabetes does not have a for sure cause. It's most likely genetic. Type 2 diabetes can be genetic, but also comes from bad diet, obesity, and lack of exercise. This will be the focus of the PowerPoint. Gestational diabetes occurs in pregnant women, and it usually leads to type 2 diabetes. It's not 100% preventable. There's not really a known cause, but we do know that it's really common. So who can get it? Well, simply put, anyone. As you can see from this graphic I've included, the rates of diagnosed diabetes, it's broken down by ethnicity. So there's obviously a difference in ethnicity. American Indians are at the highest at 15.9%, and non-Hispanic whites are at the lowest at 7.6%. There's no cure nor a vaccine. Children usually get type 1, and adults more commonly get type 2 diabetes. And family medical history plays a huge role. This graph shows the percentage. You want to focus on the left side, not really the right. Shows the percentage or prevalence of diabetes cases. There's male, female in total, and then normal, overweight, and obesity. As you can see, it's more common in males than in females. And as your body weight goes up, going from normal to overweight to obese, your chances increase. So overweight male is the most likely person to get it. Type 2 diabetes. It's the most common type of diabetes in the world. 90% of cases are of type 2 diabetes. Due primarily to lifestyle factors and genetics, as I've said, and obesity plays a huge role. The more obese usually means the higher risk, and obesity is seen in the majority of cases of diabetes. Continuing a little more on type 2 diabetes, lifestyle is a huge factor for people developing type 2. Consuming high amounts of sugar is one of the problems. Eating high trans and saturated fats, which is most commonly found in fast foods or junk foods, is a problem. Not getting enough exercise is a huge problem, and overstuffed lifestyle actually plays a role, and that's kind of a recent discovery with diabetes. So what are the symptoms of type 2 diabetes? First, you have increased thirst and frequent urination. We have weight loss, usually people who are already obese. You have fatigue, because your lack of glucose means your lack of energy. Blurred vision, numb limbs, among many others. The little graphic I included shows a couple different reasons or symptoms that people have diabetes. So how's it in the United States? Again, the simple answer, bad. There's about 3 million new cases every year. The numbers have been increasing over time. In 2013, there was close to 1/10 of the population in the United States had diabetes, and there's been over 150,000 deaths in 2013 alone. The graphic I included which shows how many people in the United States have it. In 2010, it was only 25.8 million, and in 2012, it's 29.1 million. So it's a pretty big jump in just 2 years. So what are social factors? Social factors are basically the things around us that influence our lives and decisions we make on things. They can be good or bad. There's no direct cause for diabetes, but there are social factors that play a role. Two big social factors affecting diabetes include parents and the community, and both of them kind of tie into the whole lifestyle choices. So parents. Well, parents affect the adolescents that have type 2 diabetes because they're the ones that can control the kids. Obviously, adults make their own decisions, so parents don't really play a role, but for kids, they do. So some genetic problems are uncontrollable, so don't focus on those ones. What you want to focus on is the health, diet, and exercise, because that plays a huge role in type 2 diabetes. The sugar intake increases the risk. Fast food intake also increases the risk, and parents need to monitor their children. I see, just like the image above, you see this every time you go into a fast food place. Parents take their kids in, give them this crappy food, or they go to the store and buy all this junk food because it's quick, it's easy, and kids like it. They're not going to think about it. Parents really need to monitor this, or the levels are just going to keep going up because they're going to have more of this junk food in them. Community. Well, the community factor affects everybody. So this isn't just for kids, it's not just for adults, it's for everybody. Kind of like with parents affecting kids, the community has kind of normalized fast food and junk food. Healthy foods are not a priority. People don't really care there's not a lot of healthy food. I think it's starting to become more popular now, but with the whole organic idea. But really, people just in general don't really care, and they like fast food, and they like how quick it is and how good tasting it is. And it's kind of sad. Healthy foods are not made a priority for schools, for a lot of different things. A lot of places where kids go and people go, health food is not that important. People don't call for the change. They don't try to fix the problem. With the access information that we have now, is there really an excuse for people's negligence? Is there a reason why people don't try to change things? Do they just kind of settle with the United States becoming plagued with this diabetes problem? Is there really a reason? So how can we lower the rate? Well, policy implications are hard to pinpoint for a topic like this because there's so many factors. To start, I would say educating people and making them fear the possibility of getting diabetes is big. You want to start with the younger generation, like with most things. You want to get them to eat healthier and exercise more because it'll lead to less obesity, which in essence will lead to less type 2 diabetes cases. Or in theory, that's what would happen. So why is food part of the problem? Well, healthy food tends to be more expensive. Sugar is relatively cheap, so companies can make sugar products and sell them cheap. Soda is one of the leading problems. The average soda has around 35 grams of sugar. It's sold so regularly. It's advertised at children's events. Pepsi, Coke, they sponsor everything. Junk food has become a norm in the United States. And fast food is cheap and easy, as I've said a couple times in this slide, and that's really one of the biggest problems. So what should we do about the food? Well, it's simple. Get the healthy food in and the bad food out. You want to remove unhealthy foods from schools. Stop using companies like Pepsi as advertisement for everything because we know they don't really care about the health, they care about their revenue. You want to remove unhealthy food from government buildings, obviously private buildings, private owners, people that own their businesses. The state and the government can't really affect that, but the places that the government and the state can affect, they should remove that stuff. And we should find a way to have cheaper produce. And by this I mean in schools, in any store. And I think there should be incentives. Maybe I don't really know much about business and things, but maybe there could be tax incentives for places like Fred Meyer or Walmart or Albertsons or anything. If they're starting to sell cheaper, more organic, healthy foods, maybe they can get tax breaks. I don't really know how that works, but just ideas like that can really help. So what should we do about the exercise? It's also simple. Get people to exercise more. Similar to the food, it really has to start in the younger generation. Make physical education important and not a joke like it is now. I was in high school recently. Okay, I know how it is. We had a PE program. It was definitely a joke. It was more of just people going and dressing rather than actually doing anything. Make it more important. Make people have to do it and want to do it. And keep this going through college. Make college students require PE credits. I know people don't want to pay to do PE classes, but I think it's really important, and people should be held to a higher standard with their physical education, and we're really not. And maybe have incentives for people who exercise. Again, this is hard to implement, but like businesses, people that have Walmart, maybe they can offer pay raises or bonuses or whatever, or better insurance or something for their employees that show they work out or exercise regularly, or like go to the gym, things like that. Just make life easier for people who do exercise. Make it affordable and easily accessible. So I asked a couple people what they thought about this. I conducted a few interviews, and I asked them what factors play a role in worsening the diabetes problem. First person, Kyle, who's a student, 20 years old, said, well, I would have to say all the sugar people eat. People pound sodas throughout the day, and they have like 40 grams in them. Donuts, candy, chocolate, anything. I'm just as guilty as anyone else. It's hard to cut that out of your life. Another interview I said of Brian A., who's also a student, and he's 24, says, this is why I work with computers, so I don't have to answer these questions. And he's obviously joking. Most likely obesity. I have a lot of obese people in my family, and one of them even has diabetes. If people lose weight, they're less likely to get diabetes, right? Which is correct. Carol M., who's a small business owner and soon-to-be author, she's 52, said, it's hard to pinpoint one cause. I think diet is a big factor. My book, which is not officially published yet, is about eating healthy and organic foods and trying to get them in wholesale. People settle for eating trash food like McDonald's. So as you can see, I think everyone kind of thinks about food when it comes to getting diabetes. It's kind of a big deal, and it plays a huge role. So in conclusion, the problem is obvious again. There are uncontrollable aspects like genetics, and we can't really focus on those because there's nothing you can do about it. The obvious problems that need to be addressed are parent neglect, community lack of involvement to try to reduce the amount of diabetes cases, unhealthy diets, lack of physical activity, and uneducated people about the issue. This is a problem that everyone should worry about because from the looks of it, this number is going to keep rising, and we want our younger generations to be healthier, and part of that is watching what they eat, exercising more, getting incentives for the good things they do, and I think it'll really help lower the rates. And I want to thank everybody for listening and watching. These are my academic sources, and these are the websites I use that were non-academic. Thank you for listening.